Don't feed the birds, or so I've been told until I saw this $1 thingy. It's called a suet block, and apparently it is made by melting down the fat around a cow's pancreas, and then you mix in some nuts and some seeds, and you let it cool down in a mold, and it turns into this block of bird feed. And the birds love it. I mean, I just put it by this bird bath. I made a video about the bird bath. I like the bird bath. I like doing things for my ecosystem, right? Even if that is just putting out a little bit of water for the birds to wash themselves off in. I like it. I was thinking about turning this thing into a fountain. I thought, actually, that's kind of lame. Like, it's just vanity. I don't know. It didn't appeal to me. I still do want to make some more projects with like water-based stuff, but like the bird bath is fine as is. It doesn't need a fountain. The birds don't care if there's running water or not. They're gonna dip their toes in regardless, right? And why am I making this video today with a $1 suet block that I'm breaking up into little pieces just so I'm not, causing these birds to be dependent on me for feeding them? Now, the book of Genesis, chapter 1, verse 28 says, God blessed them and said to them, this is Adam and Eve, God blessed them and said to them, be fruitful and increase in number, fill the earth and subdue it, rule over the fish in the sea and the birds in the sky and over every living creature that moves on the earth. So the first thing God said to people was be fruitful and increase, fill the earth and subdue it, and then rule over it. And what does it mean to rule over something? Does it mean that you do exactly what I want all the time? No, that's not a good ruler. A good ruler is not self-satisfying. Actually, a good ruler serves his subjects. And one of the reasons why I love America is because that is kind of what America's about. The nation is meant to serve the people. Our elected officials are called public servants for a reason. The reason we elect them is so they can serve us. It's not so they can serve themselves and do all this insider trading and, make a ton of money in secret and spend it however they will. The purpose of politics is actually to serve the people. Now, this is a video about birds, all right? And I'm not even talking about ladies. I'm talking about real life birds that fly. You see them in the video. I will say, sometimes other things come to the bird bath, like squirrel. I'm not a huge fan of squirrel, of rodent. I used to make bird houses when I was a kid. Me and my sister made bird houses, and the squirrels literally just ate through the wood and made them their own nests and took them over. And so that was kind of a letdown, but I don't hold grudges. Like, these aren't even the same squirrels, probably. I don't know if squirrels live like 20 years. Either way, this is about the birds. All right, this is about the birds. And the Bible tells us we are meant to take care of the earth. We're meant to rule over it. And about 5 or 6 years ago, I left college. And I ran into a problem. I didn't know anything. I didn't know how to take care of myself. I didn't know what things were. I mean, literally, if I went outside and you asked me like, hey, what's this? I couldn't tell you the difference between concrete and asphalt. I couldn't tell you the difference between a grass and a clover. I couldn't tell you the difference between an apple tree and a freaking oak. And, maybe you don't know the difference between those things. I didn't know them for a long time. But 5 years ago, I left school and I had nothing. I had absolutely nothing to show for it. I didn't know anything. I didn't understand anything in the real world. Now, I had all these opinions. That's one thing college was great for, is giving me a ton of opinions. But those opinions did not have any basis in reality. It was all rooted in emotion. And so those opinions were subject to change all the time. Whether I felt bad or good, I would just go and do whatever I wanted. If I felt bad about something, then I might, just put my feelings aside. I might say, the way that I've been acting up until this point, it doesn't matter because there really was no foundation behind it. And so I went into the real world looking at it from nothing, like ground level. I didn't know anything, right? I couldn't look down on anything. I couldn't look at a tree and tell you what kind of tree it was. I didn't know that leaves were different. I didn't know anything about the world. And I really hate admitting that because that was me as an adult in my prime. And I believe I'm still in my prime. But when I graduated, I didn't even graduate. I dropped out. What am I talking about? When I dropped out of college after 4 years, I was lost. I didn't know anything. And I felt detached from the world. I felt completely detached from the world. And one thing that I did is I just started looking. Not like with any expectation at all. I just started looking at the world. I started looking at the trees. That tree looks a little different. The barks look different. They're different heights. One of them's older. One of them's thicker. One of them's smaller, one of them's longer, one of them is, the leaves are different shapes, the fruits are different, they flower at different times. They're very different, and yet I can't tell you the difference without any experience. Now I could tell you, hey, the dogwoods are one of the first trees to bloom, and they're actually not much like a tree, it's more like a bush. They'll only go up to like 10 or 15 feet tall. The fruits of the dogwood come really late. They come like September, October, and they're really bitter. Like they're sour, they're bitter, they're astringent. They're like cherries. It's actually another word for a dogwood is a cornelian cherry. But I didn't know any of this before. 5 years ago, I didn't know anything about plants. I didn't know anything about the physical, natural world as we know it. I knew about the human world, and I knew about we got building materials, we got wood and metal, and we got plastic, but I couldn't tell you what plastic was. My dad went to a plastic and rubber institute. He majored in asphalt or something. My dad worked construction for a long time, and he's a real smart guy. He went to 2 colleges, he's got a master's degree, right? My dad's a real smart guy. Now, he did all this in a communist country, so it doesn't really work in America to oh, hey, yeah, the communists qualified me, and the Americans are oh, yeah, no, you got to work construction for 40 years. It wasn't exactly like that. It's just not knowing the language very well. My dad came over with the green card, and he needed to supply for his family. He needed to feed his family, and so he went to construction. He went to hard labor because he knew if I work hard, there's going to be food in my belly. There's going to be food in my family's belly. They're not going to be out in the cold. And so for all of my life, my dad has given up his own life to take care of us. Now he's 74. Thankfully, he gets a little bit of respite now. He's still going to work, mind you. When he gets a chance, he runs off. He goes away. He goes on business trips. He's working construction, building the parks of America. My dad's a freaking hero. And I didn't feel like that. My dad's got a lot of experience. I mean, he grew up in a village, so he knew about the natural world. He grew up, running down the street, down the dusty road, no shoes, no socks, kicking around rocks, playing kick the can in a communist country. They got no money, right? They know about the world. They know, oh, the poppy trees live down by the river, the poppy flowers, they were eating poppy seeds straight from the flower. They're you're hungry as a kid, you go and play out in the field, you go to the poppy field and you rip off a couple buds and or flower heads and you eat them because they got poppy seeds inside. It's food, right? They knew about apples. He'd climb trees and eat grapes. You climb the trees, the mulberry trees, and pick the mulberries. You pick the plums. You eat the plums while they're green. You don't wait for them to ripen. You're hungry as a kid. You go out, you climb a tree, you eat something off the tree. Sometimes you get, freaking diarrhea doing that, but you get a pretty strong immune system doing it too. And so I didn't have this as a kid. I grew up playing video games. I was outside too, playing kickball and, basketball and stuff on the blacktop, but I didn't grow up in the village. I didn't know about farming. In fact, one of my least favorite memories as a kid, which I look on fondly now, is picking raspberries, because my dad and my mom, they always had a garden in the backyard as long as I've ever known. They always had flowers and fruits and berries and bushes and trees. And we used to have a ton of raspberries in the backyard, right behind my garage, a ton of them. There's not as many anymore, but when it was like the middle of summer, just like now, my parents would say, get out of your room, quit the video games, we're going to pick some raspberries. And we take a couple hours and we go behind the garage, we pick all the raspberries, and that would last for the season, So for like a month or so, every day or every other day, I'm going outside, I'm picking raspberries, and I hate it because it's dark out there, they got mosquitoes, and I'm a kid. I just want to be inside playing video games. But I look on that fondly because that's really how I got into gardening. That's really how I got into the natural world. It was, I got to put on a long sleeve. The mosquitoes are going to bite me. You think my dad cared about that as a kid? No way. No way. You freaking running. You don't care what you're wearing. You got like 2 shirts. You pick one and you go out. You don't wear both of them. You don't wear your socks out because you think you're going to rip them. You wear your socks when you go to a wedding. It's a completely different way of life. And there's nothing wrong with that way of life. In fact, there's so much substance in it. And I was missing that. When I dropped out of college, I was completely missing that substance. And so I knew something was missing. I went out and I looked for it. And I found it. I found it exactly where God put it. He planted it in the earth. It was in the grass. It was in the herbs and the trees and the bushes and the bees and the birds. And it's been amazing to experience the world in this way, where I'm not so attached to what happens right now. I love it. I love to see it, but I'm not so attached to the outcome. And sometimes, my emotions still flare up. Now, I don't like the sparrows very much. The sparrows are small little birds, and they gather in groups, and they're very aggressive. They group up, and they chirp, and they're chirping. I mean, they're aggressive. They attack the other birds, and what they end up doing a lot of the time is the sparrows, they take over other birds' nests. So we get robins a lot. I like the robins. The robins have these beautiful red chests that they puff out. They're beautiful birds. They're much bigger than sparrows, and they lay these lovely green eggs. And the sparrows, they'll break the eggs when the robins are away. They'll throw them out of the nest. And when the robins eventually realize, like, hey, we're not making any progress, all our eggs are getting killed, like, they move away and they say, we got to get out of here. And then the sparrows, they take over their nest. They get all this mud and they build up this nasty, muddy mess. They always have the muddiest, dirtiest nests. They got all this garbage there. I'm not a fan of the sparrows. Now, am I feeding them this suet? Yes, technically I am feeding them. And I don't hold grudges, right? I picked up plenty of dead, beautiful green robin eggs off the ground, but I don't hold grudges against the sparrows because I know it's just one strategy, They don't always kill the other birds' eggs, and they don't always steal their nests, but sometimes they do, and when they do, it really sucks. And I love the robins. I don't know if the robins do anything bad, but the robins do come and they nest in our trees. They nest on my house. They literally nest right now. They've got a nest right on my front door. It's like right above the lamp in front of my house. And it kind of sucks because I can't use my front door right now, or else the mom freaks out. She wants to attack me. She's sitting on the eggs right now. She's got 4 beautiful green eggs. I'd lie if I didn't just think about cooking them up for breakfast tomorrow. I'm not gonna do that. I just thought about it. I'm a little hungry right now. But look, I like the robins. Last year, I got a bunch of footage and pictures of how the babies grew up, and that was super exciting. It's really cool to see how, you know, they are just cared for. The parents, they look after them. They take turns taking care of them and feeding them, and you know, they go get something to eat for themselves, go get something for the mother, go give her some food, you know, as she's sitting on the eggs. Then when the babies hatch, they go out and they get worms and they feed the babies, and they're chewing up their food for them. And you know, it's just it's amazing to see how the world works in this way. I love the robins. I don't care so much for the sparrows, but I'm feeding them both. This bird bath is for both of them. It's not just for one of them. I mean, the Bible says that when the wicked rule, the people groan and they cry out. When someone who's evil is ruling, the people groan, right? So think about that. If I was wicked and I was like taking my water hose and I was spraying the birds, you know, if I just sprayed this nest and I knocked down all those 4 eggs and I crushed them on the ground, I'd be wicked. Those birds would be crying, you know? Could you imagine if somebody killed your babies? How evil is that? How terrible is that? And so if I was wicked, if I didn't care for these things, the animals wouldn't be here. I'd run them all out. But the Bible also says when rulers are good, the people rejoice. And so right now I hope that the birds are rejoicing over this suet. I hope they're looking at it and they're saying, wow, I love this beef fat. I'm a bird, but I'm eating beef. Life's good. I hope that's what they're thinking, you know? I hope they're thinking, man, the last place I lived, they didn't have a bird bath. They didn't have a pool in the backyard, you know? That's what I hope they're saying. I hope the birds are like, man, this guy's kind of sweet. Like, yeah, actually, I did remove one nest this year. They, I don't know if it was a different set of robins or the same set, but they came in and they started building a nest right by my front door in the exact same spot there is a nest right now. And I took it down the first day. The thing is, it takes them about a day or 2 to build the nest. They're very fast workers, but if you remove it in that first day or 2, they're gonna move, right? They won't lay eggs in it, they're gonna move. And so I moved it. I was like, dude, if you don't let me use my front door, like, not allowed. You're out of here. So I moved that nest. I just put it on the ground and they moved away. And then 2 weeks later, I don't check my front door for like 2 days and they got a nest. And I'm like, dang, dude. Okay, they got a nest. 2 days later, they got 3 eggs. Another day, 4 eggs. And so, you know, I'm stuck with the robins now. I'm not gonna destroy their eggs. I'm not gonna cook them up for breakfast. I would love to taste it. I mean, it's green, it's a beautiful egg. I bet it tastes great. I bet it tastes just like any other egg when you put salt and pepper on it. But yeah, so I kind of suck because I took that first nest down, but you know, someone else ended up taking their spot. I hope those first set of robins found a place to live. Maybe it's the same set, who knows? Either way, there's a lot of birds here, and the birds do a lot of stuff. I mean, they're eating, and they're, you know, pooping. The poop is great fertilizer. The food that they eat, a lot of the time, it's like insects, it's, you know, other things that they're eating. They're eating worms. That's not bothering anybody. In fact, it's a good thing for the ecosystem because there needs to be some sort of balance in this ecosystem. It can't just be all worms, right? It can't just be all birds. You gotta have some birds, you gotta have some worms, you gotta have some flies, you gotta have some cicadas. You gotta have some of everything. Or else it's not much of an ecosystem. There's no system in it. It's just like one part. If you just got worms, it's just a ball of worms. You need some dirt for those worms. I've been rambling a lot. I like bird watching. I'll be honest, I like bird watching. As I've grown older, I've realized, hey, it's not just for old people. It's not just boring. It is learning about the natural world. And so when I saw this red-winged blackbird come, I thought that was really sweet because I see these things at my park all the time. They have this really cool song. It sounds almost robotic when they sing, and they got, you know, these beautiful black feathers, and when they lift up that wing, you got some red that shows, and it's just a beautiful bird. I saw some woodpeckers this year. Actually, last year I saw a real big woodpecker, which I wish I got some footage of, but it was like 18 inches big. It was at my park in the winter. Just a crazy, awesome bird. It landed on a tree like completely vertical or horizontal. And I saw a little woodpecker just earlier this year in my backyard. And yeah, I like the birds, man. I like the birds. And I'm not just talking about beautiful women. I like the birds. All right, that's enough rambling. Thank you for watching. Bye, I guess. Jesus loves you.